He's got the least experience with such a motorcycle. Hey, Baba. Hello guys and welcome to MotorBeam. So the last time around that we rode an adventure motorcycle, it was a Tiger 900 GT, a road bias version of the Tiger 900 lineup. This one is the Kawasaki Versys 1000. This one does not have a big lineup, it has just one motorcycle and this is it. This is a pure tourer, not an adventure motorcycle, but it has long travel suspension and it talks about comfort all along. Does it make sense to make this your weekend motorcycle? We'll find that out today by doing some tests. Before we begin, subscribe to MotorBeam and don't forget to hit the bell icon. To start off with, let's talk about the design, and there's one thing that this motorcycle definitely says is road presence. Give me that attention and it definitely grabs a ton of it. While bringing this motorcycle all the way from Pune, I got so many head turns. I was scared if anything is wrong with the bike, but nothing is. This is just a massive road presence motorcycle, and if you want that, don't have second thoughts, go and get it because this is comfortable too on another level. If you look at the design, this one has a very similar front fascia like the ZX6R or you can say the Ninja 400. The same face has been continued, but what does differentiate is the rear, because the front is not as bulky but the rear definitely is. If you see, this has a lot of bulk all around, and this motorcycle, even though the wheelbase is smaller, is a longer motorcycle. The good is definitely you will get a ton of attention, but if you go deep down, there is something that bothers me a little, is that the front tire is a 17-incher and so is the rear. While the rear looks a little too bulky on the top and it feels like it has missed leg day, the front does too because of the small tire. Well, this motorcycle does run on road spec tires, and that is what gives away that this is a tourer, not an adventure tourer. Everything on this motorcycle is literally manually controlled because you can manually adjust the windscreen to particular levels with these two knobs. While riding, you cannot do so because it jams a little. Second thing is, the levers are again manually adjustable. The front suspension for preload is manually adjustable, and the rear suspension is manually adjustable from here as well. That is also for preload. So this motorcycle is manually adjustable and it requires a manually adjustable person to ride it too. There are a few things which I like a lot, is that this motorcycle gets all around LEDs. So the headlight, indicators, tail light, they are all LEDs. Plus you get a massive 21-liter fuel tank. That said, this one returns a mileage of between 16 to 21 kilometers per liter. If pushed too much, it will go down to 14, but that's about it. If you cruise for long, I've been able to get close to 22 even. So that said, 1000cc motor, this is a proper mile muncher. And to talk about comfort, well, this one has a ton of space. We'll do that and we'll show that in the Spacious test. The instrument cluster is not that impressive for me because it is an analog digital unit. The analog tachometer has the needle which runs very nicely and redlines at 10,000 RPM, while the digital unit is a bit too small, does display the information but to a limited number. The standard information on display is a gear position indicator, the fuel gauge, the clock, plus a basic data which is present either for trip meters or something like that, and it displays the speedometer as well as the power mode and traction mode. Basically, it gets 2 levels of power, 3 levels of traction which is switchable to off as well as you can get the other information like range, life mileage, current mileage, temperature, ambient temperature, odometer, trip 1, trip 2, and that's about it. Basically, if you use the switches with the KRDC button, you can actually get the lean angle data on the meter as well, which is very impressive. Now with this lean angle sensor, it does get a set of electronics which is the IMU sensor, basically helping you in cornering ABS, while the other electronics only include traction control and power modes. It does not get a quick shifter, it does not get any kind of other electronics like heated seat, heated grips or anything like that. This is a very basic, simple yet a practical motorcycle. Right next to the meter, you also get a power outlet button which is very helpful if you're going distance and you can charge your phone or your electronics on the go. While talking about electronics, this thing looks very purposeful. I haven't got my laptop, but I've got something else too. Let me show you an example. And as I said, this motorcycle is tall. Here is an example that it is on the main stand right now. The rack comes up to my chest. It is definitely very high. This comes in very handy when you are hungry, so you can pick up a samosa or something like that and definitely have your food. This is nice. Let's go into the test. I'm sorry, let's get on with the tests. This is the slalom test. Filtering a heavy motorcycle like the Versys is a little difficult. But even with so much weight transfer, a good center of gravity helps even at slow speeds. Adding a pillion adds weight to the handlebars, but even though it does not feel difficult. While I almost hit a cone, the handlebar feels heavy, yet not too difficult. Is it possible to take a U-turn within the 2-lane road? With a good entry point and proper vision, it is definitely possible. The brakes have a very good feedback, and with less intrusive ABS, the Versys comes to a stop without any drama. With a long travel suspension, you tend to just jump over puddles. Solo is fine, but with a pillion, things change a lot. With the preload set to your liking, the pillion has a slight bounce back effect and you can see his legs in the air. However, he isn't thrown off the motorcycle. Same case for a Speedbreaker, and things are much better here. The stock compression is so good and you can see there's barely any effect to the pillion on cruising speeds. The overall riding dynamics of the Versys 1000 are very likable, comfortable and probably the best for touring. So the next challenge is to put this motorcycle on the main stand because it gets one as standard. All you have to do is lift it up and put it on the main stand. That's it. We'll see how easy it is for everyone. Put it back on the side stand too, and that completes the challenge. It is a heavy motorcycle.
But then it was fairly easy.
It is fairly easy. The intern says it. It's fairly easy. Utar, Abhi utar. Very good. Nice. Done. Next. DOP for the win. Easy. It is easy. Now take it off. Nice. How difficult was it?
It was easy.
It was easy.
Niche utarna is thoda difficult.
That's what she said. He's got the least experience with such a motorcycle. Hey Baba. Now you know. Ghuma diya. Excellent work. That's Adil for you guys. Acha, Gandhar, you come. Please bring it back to place.
I have to clear this mess.
His mess. Almost there. Nice.
Then DOP frame ठीक है? पीछे. Okay.
तू बाहर आ गया.
Perfect. Okay.
And on the main stand. I know you have Himalayan experience, so hey. It is easy. It is easier than the Himalayan.
Yeah. Himalayan is way more difficult than this. I mean, seriously.
So kudos to Kawasaki for making.
I'm gonna do it one more time. This is super easy. Can we exchange?
No. इतने पैसे में इतना ही मिलेगा. So kudos to Kawasaki for making the dynamics so much more practical that putting this motorcycle on a main stand and taking off of it is easy peasy. At 840 mm of seat height, this is definitely a tall motorcycle and it should not be difficult for all of the people to climb onto this. But the only problem is this has a wider seat, so that 840 mm feels a little too high. There is a technique to get onto it, and let's see if everybody will tiptoe or flat foot. I can definitely get on the motorcycle easily, but because of my height, I'll keep tiptoeing all the time. Next up, the other ones. Aaja. Technique is correct, but Mandar is almost the same height as me, and hence even he is tiptoeing. But can you feel the weight to your bumps?
Not that much. But if I try to move it,
Yes,
it does feel a
it
lot.
does. So this motorcycle does feel heavy. Next,
क्या करना है?
chalo. Technique, not the same, but he can almost flat foot. Yes, almost there. Which means even though the seat height is at 840, it is still comfortable for people of height. What is your height?
5'8",
5'8", 5'8" and 5'9". ठीक है. Next, Adil. So the technique is again a little different. Again, he is directly jumping onto the motorcycle and he is tiptoeing on both the sides. Okay. Gandhar, the only person who looks sizable to this motorcycle. And you can see he can flat foot as well as bend his knee. So this motorcycle is actually comfortable and accessible for taller people. What's your height, Gandhar?
6 feet, half inches.
6 feet. Half inches, ठीक है. So let's get on to the next test. This test is only to show how spacious this is. There's good enough space for him, and I suppose there's good enough space for one more. अरे Bantai, Bachi, Bamai. चलो ट्रिप से घूम के घुमाएं. This test is only to showcase that this motorcycle has ton of space. Basically this is a car on 2 wheels. अभी हो जा, उतरो 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 उतरो. The fact that all the 3 were still comfortable. So before we start the verdict, here are a few questions that I'll answer which I'd asked on Instagram for you guys to question me for this motorcycle. Number 1, why has this motorcycle got less power than the Ninja 1000, and is it heavier? Should we get something similar? Well, you've seen the test, this motorcycle is definitely heavier, but the dynamics are very well designed. However, in case of power, this motorcycle does drop a little compared to Ninja 1000, but it is not too less. In the low power mode, it does chop off with 75% power on offer. However, it is still enough to keep you cruising at a good triple-digit speed. This motorcycle, it is 1000cc. It is an inline-4 motor. It is still very impressive, and the exhaust note, it's definitely lovely. Now this question has been coming along for quite a few times. Is it better than the BMW R1250 GS? Well, considering the price, this is definitely value for money. And if you want to go touring, this is the one you can pick because it is very, very, very comfortable. You've seen the spacious stage, you've seen everything. This is a tourer. But if you want to ask if it can go hardcore off-roading, this one cannot, because it is running on road tires. The front tire is even smaller, and it is the heaviest in the segment too, in the liter class car. That's the reason here. And the last question that I'll pick today is it value for money? Now, this is a verdict, and I can definitely say that this motorcycle is definitely value for money because it comes at a price of 14.2 lakhs on road Mumbai. At that price, you cannot really get a liter class motorcycle with long travel suspension, and the only one that is on offer is another Kawasaki, that is the Ninja 1000. This one definitely gives you more comfort on offer, has a lot more real estate, and it does look massive. So if you want a tourer, if you want to go the distance, this is the one you should definitely pick because it definitely justifies the VFM tag. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, do hit the like button. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.